Hello everyone! If you've never seen a piano keyboard before, my goal for this video is to help you orient yourself by the keys, learn the key names, learn all major scales and chords. I will explain it in 10 minutes, but you will, I guess that you understand that you will need a little bit more time than that to practice it. So let's try this. Let's try fit all this into 10 minutes. First of all, you see white and black keys. Black keys are grouped in 2 and 3. Wherever you have the group of 2, right underneath is note C. Okay, so right under the group of 2, note C. Your first task is to find C all over the keyboard. Second, under the group of 3, you have F. So you can learn to find F easily just by following with your eyes this pattern of 3 black keys and finding this F right under to the left. When I say under, I mean to the left. So the next task is to just go and play C and F all over the keyboard. Then in this group of 2, we can say the bottom one is C and the top one is E. So C and E, this is E, this is the new key. And in the group of 3 we have, this is F and this is B. So now we have 4 keys, C, E, F, B. We now need 3 more keys and we are done with the key names. In the middle of the first group, we have D. And in the middle of the group of 3, we have G and A. Okay, so D, G, and A. So now I will leave you here to go and practice this. You probably noticed that I didn't mention these notes here. Well, they have the same name, but they're just flat or sharp. So if you've seen that symbols of sharp and flat, they mean one thing. If you see a sharp key, that's the black key to the right. Okay, up on the keyboard, to the right. So this is C, then this key here is C sharp. And if you see flat, let's say you see D flat. This is D. D flat would be this key here. So the black keys can be both sharp and flat, depending on the context. If it's a sharp, let's say sharp C, this is to the right, flat D here. So, but there's one exception. In the case of sharp B, we would play C and call it a sharp B. This is B flat, A flat, G flat, E flat, D flat, and C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. So pause the video here and then let's move on to the step. I forgot which step was it. It's step 2. And step 2 is learning the difference between steps and half steps. So half steps are the shortest distance between 2 keys on the keyboard. So C and D flat, C sharp and D and E flat, a half step. You get it. Most of the times it's between a black and white key, but it can be between 2 white keys here because we don't have anything in between. And B and C, there's a half step between them. And a whole step is when you have one little half step in between. So one key in between. So C and D is a whole step because you have C sharp. And D and E is a whole step. E and F sharp is a whole step. B and C sharp is a whole step. F sharp, G sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Pause the video here, practice this. Moving on. The next step is finding the perfect fifth. Perfect fifth is the distance between 5 keys. And it looks like this. Most of the times, the perfect fifth is between 2 of the same colored keys, like this. I can just use 2 and 5 and move around the keyboard like this. Here, for B, you need F sharp. Okay, so this is the exception. From B, you need the opposite color key. The same thing goes for B flat, you need F. So learn these 2. When you play the black keys, B flat and F, when you play the white keys, B and F sharp is the perfect fifth. Okay, now that you got it, let's combine the knowledge and move on to the pentascales. The pentascales are the beginning of a regular scale. They are the first 5 keys of each scale. So let's start with C. We need the perfect fifth first. Now we need a step up from the bottom key. And we need a step down from the top key. Now, for the major pentascale, we need our third finger to pick this note to the right, closer to F. You see the third finger has an option here. It can play either E flat or E. Everything else is pressed. So, for the major pentascale, you need the third finger to be closer to the fourth. For the minor one, you need your third finger to be closer to the second finger to the left. So think of it like minor, sad, down, major, happy, up. And why do I say happy? This sounds more happy, right? This is major. Minor, sad. So let's go back. So for the major pentascale, you need the third finger to be closer to the right. And for minor, this. Now, a cool thing that you can do is when you lift your 2 and 4, you can get the chord. This is the chord. This is the C major chord, actually. When you play the minor pentascale, this is the C minor chord. So you get all 24 pentascales and chords just by doing this same step. So let's try this from some random key, F sharp. Perfect fifth first, step up from the bottom key, from the top key step down. Remember, you need a key in between. Now for the third finger, if you want the major, pick this closer to the fourth. Lift your 2 and 4, this is the chord. And now for the minor pentascale, you need this third finger to be closer to the left. Now lift your 2 and 4, F sharp minor, chord. Awesome. Now let's move on to the full scales. So for the full scales, you need 2 more keys. And now that you have the major pentascale, you need a step, step, and the tonic again. So you need a step from G, step from A, and you're back to C. Minor one, you need minor pentascale, and then a half step, step. So the difference is that after a major pentascale, you have 2 steps. For the minor, you have a half step and a step. And that's all. You just add the first key again. Okay, the same thing goes for every single key. Moving on, the final step is to learn the fingerings. And the fingerings are actually pretty cool because they're always based on the same principle. The principle is that you always have group of 3 fingers and group of 4 in one straight line. And the groups always start from finger 1. I will first talk about the right hand and then about the left. But the same principle applies for both left and right. Let's start the C major scale. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it's the same for all the major and minor keys that start from a white key. So for D major, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4 for E. F is the other way around, 4 and 3. Now for the left hand, we are starting from the 5th finger, so now we have 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And if you were to go to the left, you know, like in the mirror, like this, it would be absolutely the same fingering. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember where's your 4th finger, because your 4th finger will always be on the same key. In this case, it's on D, right? So if you go to the right, it will be the same. So 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the group, remember? It just goes from 4 to 1 instead of from 1 to 4, because you're playing it like in a mirror when you're playing the left hand. So when you play the key of F, you're again starting from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 1. Remember that the fourth finger is on G here, because you just play fourth finger on the one single key, not on anything else. Black keys, we don't play thumbs and fifth fingers into scale on the black keys. So when we start the scale, we will start either from 2 or 3. So let's pick 2 and start from C sharp major. The C sharp major is this. And now you need 2, 3, and your thumb will fall on the first white key here. And now you're going 2, 3, 4. And your thumb is again going to fall on the white key. So whenever you reach the first white key, you play 1. Okay, and you are playing the same fingering backwards. So remember where your groups were. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 here. You had 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember those images as well as notes. So it's the same thing for the left hand. You're starting with either 2 or 3. Here you can see that you need your 2 fingers here, and your thumb is falling on this E sharp here. So this is your first group, 3, 2, 1, right? And now you have these 3 keys here until the next thumb. So 3, 4. And you use the same groups when you go down. That's it.